Fadlizon, Pak Giring Ganesha, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, ambassadors, and friends from abroad and from Indonesia. I'd like to thank you for your kind invitation. I've been asked to talk about a topic very dear to my heart. I've been talking about this actually for about more than 10 years. My concern about culture, heritage, and the future. Identity. The connection between identity, culture, and the future. And frankly, as an Indonesian, I feel very concerned about the threat, I would say even dilution of our national identity because of the advance of technology, media, and communications. And I think this is a threat to all of us here in this room. I see representatives from Uzbekistan, from Armenia, from Rwanda, from Tanzania, from India. Forgive me if I don't mention the other countries of origin. But I've seen in the last 10, 15 years, Indonesian youth, Indonesian young people, more enamored with a higher affinity for cultural heroes and icons, not from here in Indonesia, not homegrown, but from Hollywood. And other locales associated with Hollywood. I would say with a high confidence that most Indonesian young people know more about Superman, Batman, Iron Man, Spider-Man, and other iconic figures from Hollywood than they know of our mythological figures. Very few people in Indonesia now associate themselves with Gatot Kaca or Tatuko or even Gundala. Gundala is a comic figure, frankly, rooted from our mythology. Frankly, I don't know very too much about Gundala, but somebody told me about Gundala. And even Gundala is not even well remembered by the people here in the year 2025. And I think it's a great, I'm not trying to sound as a xenophobe. I have nothing, in fact, I enjoy watching Hollywood movies. But in my opinion, there has to be a balance between our native culture and the cultures of other nations. And I think this goes to others who are present in this room. So culture and national identity, I think, is very much intertwined. We have in Indonesia a lot of homegrown talent. A lot of homegrown talent who are very much wired into this world of AI and IT and computer-generated imaging, CGI. In fact, we have a lot, an abundant source of talent. And I think it would be appropriate for people like me, with some influence with this government, certainly with Pak Fadlizon, our Minister of Culture, and Pak Giring. Pak Giring, as you know, is actually a singer, a professional singer. The only reason why Pak Giring and Pak Fadli did not come out dancing with the previous singer, because they don't want to be portrayed as insensitive to the aspirations of the people. Joget-joget, dancing, while people are suffering. So I think you're quite right, Pak Giring. And also me, I don't sing and dance very well. I have to be careful as well. In this day and age of social media and AI-generated images and AI-manipulated images, if I may say so. So I would suggest that all of us here, particularly from the global south, but also from France, because I think France has been one of the countries that have seen. I still remember the time of André Malraux, Excellency, when André Malraux was the ambassador of France, Minister of Culture of France, where there was an intentional program, a well-designed program of promoting native Gallic culture, of reinforcing French culture, French literature, French film and arts, because there was the perception in the 60s and 70s that Anglo-Saxon culture was drowning out the Gallic culture of France. But I think this is a threat to all of us here. And it seems, and it behooves us all, in my opinion, that our respective governments should invest in programs to strengthen our national culture. I just mentioned to our Culture Minister, Pak Fadli, I would like to propose to the Indonesian government that the Indonesian government allocate a fund. I think in this case, maybe Danantara, a sovereign wealth fund, to set up a fund to provide seed capital and financing for the culture content creators. The animators, Pak Giring, Pak Fadli, animators, cartoonists, artists. We should strengthen them, we should finance them, we should nurture them to be able to at least provide a healthy balance between our native cultures and, let's say, the culture brought in by Hollywood and others. I fully support allowing foreign cultures to come to Indonesia. Indonesia has been for 2,000 years the melting pot of different cultures. I myself, my family, the President Prabowo's family, we ourselves have in our DNA not only native Javanese and Sulawesi blood, we also have Dutch blood. One of our grandmothers was a Dutch lady. We have Indian blood. I think the ambassador of India knows that. We actually do have Indian blood. This was conveyed in Delhi to your president and your prime minister when we visited in January. We also have some Chinese blood, but we're very proud that we have the blood of so many different cultures. And Indonesia has been at the crossroads of Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, Confucianism, as well as Islam and as well as Christianity. So we are a melting pot. You who are visitors to Indonesia can see, this melting pot, this crossroads has been very much a source of richness to our culture, to our literature, and now to our arts and sciences and film. So I would suggest then one way to be proactive, Pak Fadli and Pak Giring, is that our government, through our sovereign wealth fund, be able to prepare for the future. You know, we cannot prevent ideas from coming. We are an open society. The internet and social media, we're open. People can send us messages from the North Pole, and we'll be able to reach it within a few seconds for each Indonesian audiences. But we must have a concerted effort to be able to strengthen and nurture in a healthy way our content creators, our artists, and so forth. So I think that's the message from me to all of you, especially to my fellow Indonesians, that we have to have a healthy balance so that not only do our young people, to our young toddlers, young kindergarten, they don't only view the iconic figures such as Spider-Man and Batman, and Iron Man even, but we also nurture and strengthen and have a love for our homegrown mythological figures from the Wayang and from before. So that's actually the message I want to give, as this is, I think, the opening of the closing session, I was told, right? So this is something that I'd like to give as a thought. Perhaps there's some reaction. I hope there's a reaction. I hope there's a response. Is this a knee-jerk reaction from my part? But this is something that I've thought about very deeply and passionately for the last 10, 15 years. And I think Pa Fali knows this. Some of you who know me have known me for some time. But this is something that I think ought to be done. We have a lot of animators, Jakarta and Jogja, who are dying for support, who are dying for sponsorship, who are desperate for nurture and nurturing. And I think it is now with the creation of the Danantara Sovereign Wealth Fund, we actually have the vehicle to be able to support our cultural community. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope I'm provoking some response and some debate. I'm open. I'm a Democrat with a small d. I'm open to criticism, and that's the reason why I'm here today. Thank you very much.